Alright guys, welcome back to another video. I have here with me a special guest and she is going to be okay, before we start, I'll let her introduce herself before she dives into the reason why she's here today.
Okay, so my name is Diana. Everyone knows me as Diana, but my first name is Kayoko. I'm just a Japanese name because my mom is Japanese and my dad is a Nigerian. So I am a mixed here.
She's mixed, the special ones. No, we're all special. We are all special. Alright, so Diana's here today because she's going to share with us her salvation testimony and how she came to know the Lord. And I think it's something that will encourage girls everywhere, because the world that we live in right now is a world that really encourages us to should I say put on a false image of who we are. So I pray that as we go through this you will be blessed. I have some kids that I'm babysitting in the background, so in case you hear sounds or anything, or I look off in the corner, that's what I'm doing. Alrighty, so Diana, tell me a little bit about yourself before we dive in, like in terms of how you came to know the Lord and how it all started for you.
Okay, so how I really came to know the Lord was through makeup. I used to be a girl that could not leave the house without making up because I was so ashamed of my true self. I was so insecure of who I really was, who I really am, and I could not just leave the house without dressing well, without making up, without making sure that I look perfect in my own eyes. And then and after some time I started attending a fellowship called Deeper Life Campus Fellowship in Memorial University. That was during my second year in Memorial University. And then in that fellowship we talk about how Christians should behave in terms of being a university student,
like in terms of like conducting themselves in a holiness, purity of heart
on campus.
Okay,
yes. And after some time, after attending that fellowship, I was making up in my house one morning, and then my spirit was telling me that why am I making up? Like my spirit was condemning me.
Like, why do you have
why do you have this makeup on my face? And then it was also telling me that I'm not being my real self, because I also know that whenever I'm associating with people with makeup on and without makeup,
there's like
there are two sides, like two different people.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so that was
how it all started.
Yeah, that was how it started.
Okay, so in the fellowship, were they particularly preaching about makeup, or was it just something that the Spirit of God really used to draw your attention?
So in the campus fellowship, they never taught us like specifically
about makeup. Okay.
So it was not something that I learned through the fellowship. It was something that just came up one day from nowhere.
Especially because you hadn't really been there, should I say, long enough.
Yes.
It was. I know that. I remember, like, it was just you.
It was just like maybe 3 or 4 times that
you had come.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just came up from nowhere, like, why am I making up? It's very weird because like it has never happened to me throughout my whole life. I started making up. It was just that day. Why am I making up? It just came from nowhere. And I believe it's the Spirit of God, because it was a really like,
it was like a very clear,
it was
authentic voice.
It was very clear.
Okay.
And because after that day, whenever I make up, I never felt comfortable again, because I felt like I was disobeying this voice that I was hearing.
Right. And so how did that eventually lead you? Because I'm sure that's what led you to your experience of salvation. Like,
yes.
How did that lead you to coming to know the Lord?
So after I started hearing this voice within myself, I had to meet the campus leader of the fellowship to ask the person if makeup is a sin, because like anything that is sin, because I also go to church and I also care about what God says. I didn't want to disobey God. Then the person was telling me that makeup is worldly, because like why would you want to add up to what God has given you?
Right.
And it's true, because I was insecure. I was not really happy like through inside me, because I know that I didn't have a good character.
Right.
And I didn't have a good character, and I felt like I was so ugly. I was like, so I felt like there was nothing good about me, and the only thing that I could do to make how will I say it, to compliment myself
Was through the makeup.
through the makeup, so I could look beautiful. So I feel like at least I have something good about myself.
So after meeting that person, you were able to, like, what happened next?
So after then, after I realized that God was not happy with me, after hearing from the person, I had to go to my room, and then I remember that night I went on my knees and I was crying to God to help me, because I know that I can't leave my house without making up. And I was so
You were also like asking God for salvation at that point, because I remember you saying that before. Was that a
yes, I was asking God, because I am ready to follow you. So because I'm ready to follow you and I cannot do this on my own, I realized that there's nothing that I could do on my own at that point. I know how makeup was so precious to me. If you do makeup, you know how makeup is precious to you. So it was so precious to me. I was like, how can I leave my house without makeup? This is not possible.
I think this reminds me of there's a statement that says the end of yourself is the beginning of grace. And I think you had reached the end of yourself when you realized that if I really want to walk with God, I cannot do it with my own physical strength. But I know that when you gave your life to Christ after that, a lot of things about you also started to change. Your physical appearance, you know, you started dressing differently. Like, what was the reason for that? Like, how did salvation connect to that?
Yes, because it was not just even makeup. It was even about my hair. It was even about the clothes I wear. Like, I wanted something that, you know, looked like attractive, like a model, and you know. And I also love the things that are transparent, because I like lacy clothes. But then I just realized that I'm not just living for myself. I've forgotten the place that in the Bible that says this, that you're not just living for yourself, you're also living for other people.
I'll put the Bible verse in one of these corners.
So I just realized that I'm not living just for myself. So it's not oh, I want to wear this. If they fall after, or if they're lost in their mind, it's their business. It's not my business. Like, I can't just live my life like that. I have to also consider if other people fall into sin because of what I dress.
Right. And another key thing I think is also just holiness. You know, as Christians, we don't want to, just because of the change of heart and the change of mind and our walk with God, we also want to present ourselves in a way that also pleases God, right? And I know that's one thing that was as key for me, is that when I came to Christ, I wanted to present myself in a way that I knew that was acceptable to God, not like the worldly standard, like the godly standard as well. So that's a key thing with a lot of new believers. It's a struggle. You know, the devil, he doesn't relent. He fights. He's pushing. He doesn't want to lose anyone. But when you come to Christ, there's no need to fear the arrows by night or the pestilence or whatever it is the enemy shoots at you. If you're confident that you receive salvation, just as he gave Diana here the grace, he's able to give you as well. I don't know if you want to add anything. If there was someone watching this video now, and let's just do a quick checkup on time. Okay, so if there was someone watching this video now and you were just to talk to them directly and look them in the face, and they were telling you that, Diana, I'm struggling. Maybe it was easy for you, but you don't know, you don't understand what I've had to go through, right? You don't understand what it means to me, or I don't feel convinced enough. That's fine, guys. I don't feel convinced enough. What would you tell them?
Well, you have to praise God honestly, because I didn't do this by myself.
Like, you mean they have to pray to God?
Yeah, that I didn't do this by myself. I didn't do this by by the help of my friend. I did it by the grace of God. That I'm even surprised that I could leave my house without makeup. Like, if you are a Japanese girl, you can understand that it's very hard for a Japanese girl, a typical Japanese girl, to leave her house without making up. You can relate.
Yeah. For all the Japanese people out there watching this video, even though they don't speak English.
So it's really hard. So it's only by the grace of God you can overcome this kind of habits. And I was also addicted to attention. Are you also addicted to attention? Also? No, I was, because I used to be the kind of person that if I pass this way, certain number of people have to look at me. If these people don't look at me, then I am not satisfied. That's how I was so really addicted to outer appearance. Like, if you have outer beauty, then there is no other thing you need. That's how I usually think. But I know that's not. I knew it deep inside myself that moment that was not the true thing.
Yeah. Wow. the attention thing is just a shocker, you know. Which is true, you know. Many people seek attention, but they may not be bold enough to say that's why they're doing it. That
and at that moment, you'll be so ashamed to say that
it's for attention.
It's for attention,
right?
Because I'm saying it now because I have changed, but by that time, I will not be able to tell that I'm passing here just for attention.
God is good. God is really good. So we really appreciate the time that you guys have spent. Hopefully you went through the whole video. At the end, while the video is closing out, we will put some pictures of Diana's before and after transformation. It's not going to be there. It's not going to be there. It's not going to be there at all. It's like, okay, let me wondering why you're waving in the air. Alright guys, so we hope you have a wonderful week. Stay blessed. Leave comments, leave kind comments, leave questions, and I just hope that whatever it is that you have as a burning question or a burning desire, you know, if you find that you're not in the place or in an environment where the answers are there, I really pray that the Spirit of God will lead you aright. Alright guys, have yourself a blessed week.
Bye.
Bye.